Okay, before I get into the video, I was actually supposed to record this as soon as I got home, but it was like damn near 12 a.m. and I was not doing that shit. So I figured I'd just record it whenever I can and didn't feel lazy, which is like 2 days afterwards. But anyways, so this is basically going to be like a story time / review of the Demon Slayer movie, which was by far one of the fucking best goddamn sources of anime I've ever seen. Like, this shit was beyond peak. So, alright, I'll start with the story time aspect first. So, on the way to the movie, 2 hours before the movie starts, me and a couple of friends that I was going with decided to just hang out and yap for a little bit before we went to the movie, because we decided that we were gonna hang out for a little bit just to kill time, then go to Walmart and buy our shit there to allegedly take to the movie theaters, in GTA and VR chat, of course. So anyways, we go to one of our friends' house, just yapping with his mom. Then one of my other friends has to pick up one of his friends that was going, and another one of our mutual friends decided to go with him. So we're waiting for another one who was there out of a group of 6 people. I should probably just give names. Whatever, you can ask in the comments if you get confused. Anyways, so the friends whose house we went over, he said that he was going to be out in 10 minutes. And by the way, if you're watching this, I am still pissed about that. That was not 10 fucking minutes. You goddamn know it. Anyways, I digress. So he said that he was going to be out in 10 minutes. Then I fucking call him because it was much more than 10 minutes and my car is hot as shit. So anyways, just for this fuckhead to tell us that he's taking a shower. So after he takes fucking eons, he gets in the car and we're on our way to Walmart. We're just yapping while obviously being hyped as shit. So we get into Walmart. The other half of the group isn't there yet, obviously, because they have to drive 30 minutes to get a final member of our group and then drive back to Walmart. So anyways, my half of the group, we were in Walmart and we were just geeking out over the fucking figures that they had there. Because they had, I don't even remember which ones they had. Like, one of my friends is into Funko Pops. I'm personally not into them. But they had a L figure from Death Note, but I had to be financially responsible. So unfortunately, I couldn't fucking buy that one. So anyways, the other half finally gets there after a while, and then that's when we get our snacks, and one of them is just telling the new guy a story from a while ago of how they almost got arrested at Menards, which I was there for, but anyways, that's a story for another time. So anyways, me and my friend from the other half of the group, we're walking up to the front to get the stuff that we could actually fit in our fucking pockets, and we're just laughing and shit, having a good time. And this one bitch who's just walking through the store was like, "You guys are having way too much fun just to be at a Walmart." And I just looked at her, and my friend was like, "Bro, let's just keep going." And I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm just curious as to who the fuck does she think she, who are you? What authority do you think you have? Who the hell is this bitch? Anyways, I didn't let it bother me too much. So we go to the front, get our stuff, fucking buy it, and we're on our way there. So we're on our way to the movie theaters, just yapping about random stuff. And then we get there, and the parking lot is full. I wish I would have took a picture, but it was just full. But for some reason, my luck stat was just on peak, and somebody was just pulling out as we had got there. So yeah, lucky me. And then I'd fucking seen a text in a group chat from my friend who was driving the other half, asking where the address is. And I'm getting a little heated because I'm like, bro, what the fuck? If you didn't know the address, then why did you tell me that you were just gonna punch it into your fucking GPS? Anyway, so I call him and I'm like, did y'all manage to like get the address and be on your way? And they were like, yeah. So we wait. So we get inside, show the guy up front our codes, and yeah. So we're waiting for them. And another one of my friends said that he was going with one of his friends, and he was in line, and Jesus fucking Christ, was that line for the like snack area and shit just packed beyond belief. Which I'm on, like I saw that and I was like, yeah, I'm glad that we went to Walmart first. Actually, I'll put that video right here. Look at this. Bro, look at this fucking line, dude. Now, obviously, it comes to no one's surprise that the line was pretty long, but also, I was not gonna wait in that goddamn line, because we were supposed to be there by 7:50, but honestly, I wasn't in too much of a hurry because, you know, the previews and shit like that, but I knew for a fact if I was to try to wait in that line, I definitely would have missed a part of the movie, and that wasn't even the last thing that I was trying to do. So the other half of the group had finally got into the theaters. I'm like, what the fuck took y'all so long? And then I'm like, wait, did y'all have to, like, was it the parking that took y'all so long? And then he was like, bro, we literally had to park all the way down there. And I'm like, yeah, that checks out. Oh yeah, another part that I forgot to mention is as me and my half was walking in, there was these kids like outside of the theater, and they were like, oh, which movie are you going to see? And I'm thinking, what other fucking movie would I be going to see? Dumbass Demon Slayer, obviously. But they were kids, so I didn't be as vulgar as I like to, and I was like, Demon Slayer. And then they were like, who's your favorite character? And I answered, honestly, Doma, the GOAT. And yes, you will hear me defending him in this fucking video. Oh yeah, by the way, if it hasn't been obvious, that yes, spoilers are gonna be included. But anyways, back to us being inside. So they show the guy at the front their codes, and we just yap for a little bit before we go into the theaters. And one of my friends in my half of the group decides to get in this fucking snack line for some unknown reason, as if we didn't just go to Walmart. And the movie's starting, and I text him, hurry up. And I just put my phone down, expecting him to like instantly know the movie had fucking started. So like a few minutes afterward, I look at my phone, I have 2 texts from him, and he was like, you're acting like it's my fault that this line's this long. And he asked me if the movie started, and I'm like, it'd been started. Honestly, I was just gonna ignore it, but I'm like, nah, he at least deserves to know that he's missing out already. But yeah, so the movie starts, and honestly, I'm just fucking geeking the hell out. Like, there's a couple next to me, and I'm literally trying my best not to just like fucking explode. Like, honestly, like just like the hype that we had going into that movie. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't disappointing whatsoever. Like, the hype was definitely lived up to. Honestly, I'd say the hype was just, it was worth it. Like, honestly, it was beyond worth it. I didn't regret going to the movie, like, not one single bit. But anyways, so the movie starts, obviously, and all the characters are falling into the Infinity Castle, and Zenitsu obviously just aura farming just by having his eyes open alone. So the first fight, so Shinobu, goes to Doma's, before that, I'm trying to remember the movie. So anyways, before all that, it's, I believe, Guillaume and the Miss Hashira, I forgot his name, started fighting off a horde of demons, all the Hashira getting into their places, and everybody's getting situated, breaking into teams, blah, 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 blah. So, the first major fight, which is honestly the only one I cared for, Doma versus Shinobu. Now, don't get me wrong, I already know, what happened in the manga, so I really didn't care. But I just wanted to see it animated because Doma's the GOAT. So Doma fights against Shinobu, And honestly, she had a sick ass highlight. Like she did some good. She poisoned the fuck out of Doma the first time she had did it, and I'll give her that. But then my goat just had to aura farm by just telling her how fucking useless it was against him after he had already detoxed himself. So then they keep fighting, and honestly, it's just completely one-sided. Like, Shinobu, she's trying her best, but she's going against upper rank 2, and she's literally the weakest Hashira. Hell, probably one of the weakest characters in the series, but I digress. So she tries to fight against my goat, which also I have a little video of that I posted on my Instagram story. I don't know if I can post it here, so I'm gonna risk it. If it's not in there when you watch this video, then yeah, it got copyright claimed and had to take it out, obviously. But here you go.
Can't you see that we're talking?
And obviously that's not even close to the most hype moment in the fight, but just seeing him on screen, I was so hyped I just had to record it. Like, dude, it took everything in me not to just like start fucking geeking out when the movie started, but seeing Doma on screen, just perfection. But anyways, so as the fight continues, Doma obviously wins any Q Shinobu. Now, one of my friend's reaction was hilarious. Like, he was just like in utter disbelief. And then bro like just looks at me and he was like, oh, says my real name. And like, you one evil son of a bitch. How the hell do you like this evil motherfucker? And I'm just dying laughing while clapping because, the GOAT does what the GOAT wants, which is also what I told him and my other friends after the movie. But anyways, so yeah, Doma wins, obviously. And Kano comes and just fucking screams at the top of her lungs. And then after that, the next fight begins, obviously. Now, as for the next fight, Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. And if you're wondering why I have Zenitsu versus Gyutaro gameplay, that's because, well, Kaigaku replaced him. So, anyways, so Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. Now, this was the fight that, bro, nobody in the fucking theater was quiet for. Like, honestly, it was reasonably so as well. Like, Zenitsu finally fighting with his eyes open. Like, then the little flashback showing him going from the prissy little bitch boy that he used to be to him actually being the nigga that'll actually fuck you up. It was just something nostalgic about it, honestly. So anyways, Zenitsu versus Kaigaku begins after they, have a little yap sesh. Zenitsu telling him that he was pissed at him because... damn it. Zenitsu was telling Kaigaku how their master had killed themselves because Kaigaku became a demon. And Kaigaku, being him, just saying that he basically didn't give a shit. Like, Zenitsu was the favorite in his eyes. So whatever the old man did had nothing to do with him whatsoever. So anyways, the fight begins. And honestly, it was pretty even. Kaigaku was fucking frightened of Zenitsu, rightfully so, because, I mean, hell, if the kid that you've known to be a bitch finally steps up to you of all people first, you can see why the guy was scared. So anyways, Zenitsu versus Kaigaku, just amazing fight. Now, I don't have any videos from this one, unfortunately, and, well, honestly, probably for the best legally. But anyways, so the fight goes on, and somewhat completely off topic, this is also the fight where that one piece of shit had, you know what, if you're on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say it in this video. But anyways, so the fight goes on, and obviously, you watched Demon Slayer, I assume. The fight scenes was just fucking amazing. Like honestly, the animation was just like, it's always been peaking Demon Slayer, but I feel like it being on a big screen just goes to show like just how good it really is. So anyways, Zenitsu pulls a new move out of his wazoo, thunder breathing 7th form, and Jesus fucking Christ, was that that was genuinely one of the fucking coolest moments in the show. And when Zenitsu did that, the crowd went fucking wild. Like, literally, everyone was like, fucking, my friends were clapping, people were screaming. It was just it was like going to a fucking Detroit Pistons game and the player makes a free throw shot. Like, it's just something that doesn't happen, you know? Well, I don't know, I don't watch the NBA, I'm just throwing shade for no reason. But anyways, it was just crazy. Like, genuinely, it was like the Travis Scott concert, but except nobody went crazy enough to, you know, die. So yeah, obviously people were beyond, like, hyped for it, and then Kaigaku was being a petty bitch, just thinking, oh wow, at least he's gonna die with me, just for him not to. And that, yeah, Kaigaku was fucking fuming due to that. And you know how Demon Slayer is, they showed his backstory, but honestly, it doesn't really humanize Kaigaku. Like, he was still a piece of shit. Like, I don't really think you can just look at Kaigaku and be like, oh yeah, I can understand why he became a demon. I can understand why he doesn't give a shit about his master killing himself. I can understand why he was a piece of shit to Zenitsu. Like, no, Kaigaku was just a selfish little bitch boy, and there was nothing good about his character whatsoever. Honestly, if they were to take that backstory out of the anime, I wouldn't have cared. Like, there was really no humanizing him. He was a piece of shit to the very end. Simple as that. Now, on to the final fight of the movie. Akaza versus Tanjiro and Giyu. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when the fight between Akaza and Giyu started, it instantly reminded me of Ichigo versus Grimmjow when they first met, for the simple fact that Akaza did a significantly shortened version of Grimmjow's little dance before he went to just fucking GER Ichigo. And I also found out, like, yesterday, I believe, that Ichigo and Giyu share the same voice actor, so I find that actually pretty hilarious. So, that fight scene, outside of what I just said, it was very fucking good. Like, honestly, like, how can I, like, really put it into words? It was fucking phenomenal. Like I said, Akaza versus Giyu to start off was very strong. Then Tanjiro just coming in and trying to assist while also trying not to die off the first hit, and Giyu also is saving him multiple fucking times. It was actually pretty comedic. But when Giyu was on this last leg, Tanjiro had to, you know, look into the transparent world just to try to beat Akaza. It was good. I like the animation style of Tanjiro just astral projecting and Akaza not being able to fucking see him in the void. It was... I thought it was pretty comedic. But anyways, so the main part of that fight, which also I got recorded because I knew my friend's reaction was going to be fucking hilarious, which is also something I will show right now.
Disintegrated yet? Does this mean done?
Told you.
His body is still intact! The severed part is closing up!
For anybody wondering why I was saying I told you, it's because Akaza obviously got his fucking head cut off. And my friends thought, okay, that was the end of the fight. They won. And I'm like, hold your horses. Just keep watching. You're going to be pretty pissed. And you could hear him in the background, was like, nigga, what? How? And I'm just like fucking dying laughing because, like I said, I knew what was going to happen in the manga. And like their reactions prior to this moment were already hilarious. So I'm like, you know what? Let me pull my phone out because I'll be damned if I miss the opportunity to get him this time. So, yeah. Akaza's head fucking is regenerating and it just feels like all hope is lost for them. Like, genuinely, it's just ridiculous. So, anyways, Akaza's, like, the ghost of Akaza's sensei, I believe, was coming back to tell him, like, everybody from his fucking past was basically telling him, just like, hey, calm down, bro. You're fine with us, like, we accept you. And his backstory plays, blah, 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 blah. Then he just does okay, I can't say that word, but he does something to himself. I'll just leave it at that. So he does something to himself, and I was thinking that he was going to charge up the attacks to fire at Tanjiro and Giyu, because I had remembered the manga wrong. I thought that he just stopped himself from regenerating. I didn't know he had full on, himself. Anyways, so as I was watching Tanjiro, as we were watching Tanjiro try to get Giyu out the fucking way, Akaza's body was fucking turning, and I said, well, damn, that move tracks, just as a fucking shitty joke. But anyways, so Akaza does it to himself, and they're obviously relieved because they gave it literally everything they had. Like, Tanjiro was passed out, Giyu could barely fucking stand. And actually, before Akaza had, did something to himself, Tanjiro was going in for another slash, but his sword slipped out of his hand, so he just decked Akaza. And obviously, we were all fucking laughing about that. So anyways, the credits start rolling, and some people were like, wait, what the hell? Like, I thought that this was going to be like the end of the series. And anyways, we sit past the credits because, it's a fucking anime movie. Dragon Ball has taught us to do that. Anyways, so after that, we go to the bathroom. They use the bathroom. I'm washing my hands, and we're just like all talking to each other. Well, mainly arguing because they have the audacity to diss the GOAT, Doma. And they were saying like all type of slanderous things, like calling Doma which just no, he's not. And they were saying like, oh, you always like the weirdest characters. And one of my friends said like, oh, your favorite character used to be Enmu. I'm like, fuck it. Like, he didn't say his name. He was like, oh, the meat nigga. I'm thinking, who the fuck is he talking about? Because I didn't even fucking remember Enmu, so it was definitely not true. But anyways, so we kept yapping, and we also decided to take a picture by the, before we left, we decided to take a picture by the cardboard cutout of the characters. And then we went our merry ways. Well, we were going to the parking lot, then I seen one of my other friends who was there. And we were talking for a little bit, then we finally go home, and then that was gonna be it, but then I remembered another part of the story. So anyways, after I dropped one of my friends off, the other half of the group, one of them had texted the group chat saying that somebody had got pulled over, and obviously I'm driving, so I can't fucking look. So my friend who was in the passenger side, I told him to call the group chat and ask like what the fuck happened, because I obviously wasn't able to read it. So anyways, they explained how they went to Myers and they saw somebody just fucking pull a whip into a parking lot, and the cops had pulled them over, and the dude just screamed, fuck. So anyways, I don't know if the guy like got arrested or just a ticket, but anyways, one of my friends in their half of the group, this dumbass nigga was saying, hey, free my boy, despite not knowing who the fuck he was whatsoever. But yeah, so we got home, and I posted a little Instagram story basically saying that movie was peak, and I guess I could just leave the video off with that. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it, and later.
I'm not gonna lie, the last anime movie I saw prior to Demon Slayer, at least in the theaters, was the fucking Dragon Ball Superheroes movie. I don't care how much of a hot take this is, but that Demon Slayer movie was leagues better than that shit. Like, that movie was just fucking peak, honestly.